Hi, Dr. Episar.
Hi,
How are you?
Good, how are you?
So I've been having some problems with my feet, like feet sores and stuff like that, so I wanted you to take a look.
Sure, go on ahead and sit down and remove your shoes, and I'll take a look.
All right.
All right, Claire, so it does look like you are in the early stages of diabetic ulcers.
I have diabetes.
Unfortunately, I think that is the case, but we can take preventative measures to avoid furthering this issue. So I'm going to prescribe you some shoes that will actually help with your diabetic ulcers. And we recommend that you visit us in 6 months so that we can reassess the issue and make sure you're still on the right track to eliminating this issue. Also, just be conscientious at home of washing your feet and maintaining a nice, healthy foot.
Diabetes is a disease in which the body's ability to produce or respond to the hormone insulin is impaired, resulting in abnormal metabolism of carbohydrates and elevated levels of glucose in the blood and urine.
Unfortunately, Claire, after looking at your family history and examining the results of the glucose test, I regret to inform you that you have type 1 diabetes.
Those with type 1 diabetes do not produce insulin. Their immune system attacks and destroys the cells in their pancreas that make insulin. Type 1 diabetes is typically diagnosed in children, but it can be found at any age. Those with type 1 diabetes need to take insulin every day to stay alive. In type 1 diabetes, if glucose levels increase, the insulin level decreases. On the other hand, if glucose levels decrease, the insulin levels increase. Diabetes is an issue because people need insulin to use the glucose from foods they eat as energy. Therefore, diabetes patients must inject insulin into their bodies to manage their diabetes and make their bodies able to convert glucose into energy. To test their blood sugar levels, people test the blood in their fingertips. This blood shows sugar levels changes more quickly than blood from other testing sites in the body. An important member of a diabetic's care team is a dietitian. Dietitians, generally speaking, are healthcare professionals who are trained to provide advice and counseling about diet, food, and nutrition. For those with diabetes, dietitians offer advice on what to eat, what not to eat, as well as how to keep your blood glucose level in check.
Hi, Claire.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm your new nutritionist. You can have a seat. So, I heard that you've been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and I'm here to inform you on the best things that you can do to help manage it. So, I'm going to recommend that you exercise at least once a day for an hour. You eat foods low in carbohydrates but high in proteins, and make sure you eat throughout the day at probably 2-hour intervals.
Nutritionists believe that a type 1 diabetes diet is designed to create optimal nutrition while monitoring the intake of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. It involves being mindful of how you eat and how your body will respond to certain foods. An important aspect of diabetic diet is consistency. To maintain normal blood sugar levels, don't skip meals, try to eat around the same time each day, and pay attention to food labels. With that being said, dietitians recommend that diabetics eat fruit, crackers, raisins, asparagus, beets, carrots, avocados, nuts, seeds, and eggs, or any foods like these. Diet, exercise, and lifestyle go hand in hand with each other. Exercise benefits type 1 diabetics in that it increases insulin insensitivity. This means that the body does not need as much insulin injections to process carbohydrates. Though type 1 diabetics cannot produce insulin, being active can counterbalance this deficiency by lowering blood glucose levels. An hour of physical activity in each day is sufficient. Biking and walking are optimal choices. Another important member of the diabetic care team are ophthalmologists. These are medical doctors trained to perform eye exams, diagnose and treat eye diseases, prescribe prescriptions for medications, eyeglasses, and contact lenses, and perform eye surgeries.
Hi, Claire. It's good to
Hi.
see you. I'm your new ophthalmologist, and I'm glad that you came in when you did because I've heard you've been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So after looking at your eye exams, we've detected some retinal changes. So in order to avoid blindness or diabetic retinopathy, we recommend that you come in at least once a year so that we can give you eye examinations to make sure that you're on track.
Through yearly eye dilations in all adult patients and providing education on healthy lifestyles, ophthalmologists contribute to early diagnosis, improved prognosis, and prevention of complications of eye diseases caused by diabetes. Receiving word that you have type 1 diabetes may at first be shocking, but those all around you are willing to offer their support as you learn to live with this disease. Take it from Nick Jonas, it is possible to live and thrive with this disease.